Welcome back here, folks, for another episode of The Corner. Or actually, we don't know yet if this is going to be on the Scandinavian corner yet. But, who knows? It's good with a little mystery now and then. And on the other line here from in the middle of damn Denmark, we got my co-host Alexander. What's up, man? How you doing? Surviving?
I am sitting here in my thinking chair today because I have decided not to Google shit today. Well,
Wow.
I've been Googling shit since 5 a.m. today, but I'm not going to Google things during this podcast. So whatever you're hearing today is all me, at least. I don't know if you're going to do the same, but
I'm going to do the same.
okay.
I only have OBS open on my screen, so I can be sure that that it doesn't stop recording for some reason, which I have experienced before. So yeah, what was I going to talk about? I was going to talk about travel because it seems like these COVID restrictions are lightening up now. And within a couple of months, then the biggest risk group and people 40, 50 plus will all have been vaccinated. And when that happens, something magical is going to happen, and that is that the borders will open. Yes!
Damn! Holy shit.
Of course, it's not impossible to cross country borders now either, but there are these unfortunate hiccups, where you have isolation, quarantine, and all this shit, right? In freaking Norway, you know what happens if you were to travel to Norway right now?
No.
If you don't own a house or an apartment, you need to go to a Corona hotel. Yes, a Corona hotel. And and you need to stay there for 10 days or till you at least have 2 negative tests with X amount of days or something between them. And sure, the government pays part of this, but you're stuck with paying nearly $100 American per night for living there.
That's a lot of money, yo.
Yeah, it is. It is, and people have been complaining about it because it's not all the hotels that are following up with what their responsibility is on this, because they are supposed to be getting free hot meals a day or free meals a day, right? At least, right? One breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? But not all hotels are following up on this because it's expensive, right, for the hotels to make the food and organize and whatever the fuck, right? So I don't know, in my opinion, it is some of the worst examples I have seen of the hotel businesses, because you see on pictures right now. I'm not Googling, but as a viewer you can Google this yourself, and you would see overfilled trash cans, trash laying all the way in the corridors of the hotels, right? Because nobody's fucking walking there, because the floor is restricted for everybody else but people that are in Corona quarantine. Fucked up, right? And you might ask then, well, how the fuck are they delivering the food? Well, good question. They are putting the damn food in the elevator and pushing a button. and then the Corona guest.
Well, that's still better than here, where a lot of people have it delivered straight to their door by all these couriers. I myself am one of them.
as we talked about, though, man, that's not everybody that does that. A lot of people just drop the food at the door and ring the doorbell, or and they get a text message, right? Food's been delivered, right? At least I would also have done the same, instead of waiting those extra 30 seconds for getting confirmation.
Wait, what are you talking about now?
That when you deliver food via Vault, right? Then it is not it is not everybody that actually waits for the customer to open the door. They will ring the doorbell, drop the food down, and leave. Correct?
Oh yeah, but now you're talking about a separate issue that our listeners here did not did not hear about yet. But this was something that I experienced last week. Should we get into that now, or do you want to continue
I think I misunderstood. You know, you were like saying that like Corona quarantine people in Aarhus getting it delivered to their door, or what?
Well, yeah, some are.
Okay.
But like we can talk about this separate issue of the thing I experienced last week, unless you have more on.
We'll come in on it later. But so yeah, like now all this shit is like going down, and hopefully people won't go to quarantine hotels anymore to visit Norway. Other than that, you know, I'm just looking forward for the you know, everything to lighten up and be able to travel again, because there is so much shit that I want to see, man. So much.
What? Like what?
Like for one, I want to see Greece, islands, both islands and mainland, since you know it's the birthplace of politics and civilization in the world. You know, a lot of cool history and a lot of history that has happened there, with battlegrounds and wars. And you know, like Greece used to be big. It used to like expand all the way into Turkey, right? But then they have like been pushed back. So even in Turkey, you can see that some cities near near Greece are still kind of Greek, you know, because they're still painting their boats in the Greek colors of white and blue, and they speak Greek, and they have the menus in Greek, you know. But I mean, like, that's also like kind of the same as in Flensburg in Germany, where you have menus also in Danish, right? Other than Greek, other than Greece, though, like, yeah, then there's a lot of other countries I would like to see, like the Eastern European countries such as Serbia, Albania, Slovenia, Slovakia, you know. And then, you know, like I recently figured out when I was watching on TV or something, another place where I was like thinking, damn, I like to go there too, which is the Channel Islands, you know. The islands of the Channel.
Oh, yeah, you're on a roll there. Holy,
yeah, I'm sorry, man.
That's a lot of countries you're listing there, and
I'm sorry. I'm gonna end it with those. I'm gonna end it with those two countries. They're not countries. I'm sorry, islands: Guernsey and Jersey in the English/French Channel. You know.
Yeah, no, I like it. It's fine. It's just like they're but I mean, I don't know where this. I was just thinking where this built up energy, this traveling lust is coming from.
Well,
it's logically it's logical because of 1 year of being locked away in your own country.
Exactly, and it's built up, you know, because normally I would have said to my girlfriend, you know, that you know what, my Brit, we should just take a fucking plane to New York City. Fuck it, 2 weeks, right? But now, like, no, because Corona happened and shit, right? So then you were like stuck in Denmark. I mean, like, haven't even been outside of Denmark in several months.
You could still have done it, though. You would just have had to take a test and been quarantined for 10 days.
Yes, and what does that mean? But like that we're talking about quarantine on both sides. We're talking about quarantine on the U.S. side, and we're talking about quarantine on the Danish side when you get back. That's freaking 20 days, man. and then that gives you like a few days to experience the city or whatever the fuck right outside of your damn hotel. Then you come back to Denmark, and then it would have been like, wow, you spent all your vacation days on that.
Yeah.
So that's like
that is. I guess the rules are different for America. Because when I was in Germany, there was no requirements to actually be in quarantine in Germany. I only had to be quarantined once I got back. Do you say quarantined or quarantined? I don't know. Quarantined. No, I only had to be quarantined when I got back to Denmark. So that was only 10 days, and then I got a test which was negative.
Damn.
So then I shortened it to 4 days. So yeah, I got to travel a bit, but we've talked about this before. I think 2 weeks ago or something after I got back. And that was pretty good. Being down in Trier in southern Germany. Saw a lot of stuff down there. There's actually some. A lot of sites, a lot of cultural places, and an Athenaeum, like a real Greek Athenaeum, or one of those old places where they used to go and watch theaters and stuff. Well, we didn't get to see it, of course, because I wasn't there for long. I was only there for a few hours. But
all right, so you didn't see the old Roman gate in Trier?
No.
That shit was fucking amazing, man.
I am going down there though in July with the family again, so I will definitely be checking that out.
Did you go into the cathedral?
No, but I will when I get down there again in July.
That's good, man. Such a cool location too, because like it's only like a short trip to Luxembourg City from Trier also. If we're ever down there, and tons of cool things to see in that area of Germany. Like what else have you been seeing in Germany? Like not the last time you were there, but
the train tracks.
the train tracks, yeah.
Train tracks. Nah, but like when I was in Hamburg, I was shocked by the surprising famine, or not famine, the surprising poverty that you got to see when it's almost midnight in Hamburg on the Hamburg train station.
Yeah.
Like, we got beggars coming up to you I shit you not, every 5 minutes, staring at you, like ominously staring at you, with their hands forward and their tin cups, and not leaving your side until you either give them something, or you say to them in a foreign language that they don't understand, snakker du dansk? And then they would leave you, because they don't want that awkwardness, apparently. I don't know. Even though they are awkward as fuck.
Sorry to interrupt. We'll get right back on that. But can you move 1 centimeter away from your microphone?
Oh yeah.
Right, great.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. Man, yeah, I also remember that. I've been to Hamburg a bunch of times on Christmas markets and in the summer and stuff too, because it's only a 90-minute to 2-hour drive from where I live. But yeah, holy shit, man! Did you ever walk across the Kennedy Bridge in Hamburg, near the Centrum?
No, actually, I've never been outside of the train station in Hamburg. Well, no, now I was when I was in Trier. We took a short stroll out from the station, which we shouldn't have done, because there's even more beggars out there. So we should never have eaten our doner there, because there was too many of them. It's almost like, if I were to give a metaphor right here, Hamburg's just train station is like an oasis surrounded by the ominous, obscure darkness that is the poverty of Hamburg.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, if you can imagine that, you have a paradise castle that is surrounded by these demons of darkness.
Yeah, I was going to like say something similar like this, because the Kennedy Bridge is like very close to the centrum, and it is also like kind of like very strategic, because if you walk under here or you just walk above it and you look down, you see a bunch of tents, you know, kind of like Skid Row in Los Angeles, except for not as bad as that. But like I'm just like realizing now that holy shit, that's actually pretty damn good thinking, because it's so close to the centrum, right? So they're able to, you know, like walk around the centrum, you know, the Rathausplatz, and you know, like and you know, like these big places and cathedrals and churches and stuff in the middle of the centrum, where most tourists and people are amassing, right? So they can just go a short walk to beg for money and then return to their safe home of the tent under the Kennedy Bridge, right?
The town hall. That's what you call the
town hall. Yes.
The Rathaus.
Yeah. but
or in Danish we call it the Rådhus.
Yeah. But yeah, aside from that fact, though, I would say that Hamburg is an awesome city. And you also know that
I don't know. Like, I mean, sure, there's a lot of history in Hamburg, but it's like there's still. I prefer the southern cities, man. But maybe I'm biased by my study abroad in Bamberg.
Well, yeah, maybe. Well, I just liked Hamburg because it was a lot of things to see, and you had like these. Not like river or harbor cruises, right? So you can get, you know, like a good exterior view, and you can like see like a lot of shit that and see Hamburg and the harbor. And by the way, you know, if anybody didn't know this, Hamburg is actually the most secure city in all of Europe, because they have yes, it is. Google it.
Seriously?
Hamburg.
No, we're not.
Okay, we said not Google it, but you can Google it after. It is the most secure city in Europe, and do you know why?
No.
It is because they have.
I can't imagine with all the homeless people walking around and criminals there.
No, but what you don't see is like all the video cameras that are around the city and the insanely large police force of Hamburg. And it's also here, you know, like where they established the German anti-terrorist hunt task force or whatever, right? Because they have the biggest harbor in Europe, Hamburg. So after 9/11, then Hamburg was viewed on as the highest risk point in all of Europe, where bombs and terrorists, or you know, like other dangerous shit could be smuggled into, right? So that's why they made the choice of, you know, like setting up this anti-terrorist task force in Hamburg, and you know, like start having like these plans and, you know, like contingency plans and all this stuff, right? And you can really see it if you go to Hamburg during, of course, like after lockdown and after Corona is over, and you go to one of these Weihnachtsmarkts in Hamburg.
Yeah, which is basically a Christmas market where there's people selling stuff, but that's not the primary objective with going there. The main purpose of this is just to come drink Glühwein, which is basically warm wine with often there's a shot of rum in there too, so that you can warm yourself up during Christmas. And
or I was going to say also maybe Feuersangenbowle.
Yeah, that's a variation of the warm wine, of the Glühwein. But then there's often decorated heavily in most of the biggest Christmas markets. There's heavily decorated. The town where my grandparents actually live is one of the top 10 most beautiful Christmas markets in Germany. It's the Bad Salzufler Weihnachtsmarkt. Epic shit, yo. So definitely gotta check that out if you come to Germany in Christmas time. But then, of course, there's also the Nuremberger Christmas market, which is even bigger, but which I didn't get to attend because it wasn't studying abroad in Christmas.
Yeah.
But definitely that would be. Yeah, I wanted to say one more thing. Damn, you should go to southern Germany if you think Hamburg has a lot of sights to offer. Because there is so much more to discover in southern Germany. Culturally, we're talking about not just all the fucking Catholic domes, which are much more extravagant than anything you... Maybe you find the dome in Cologne, but there's so much more better shit in Munich, Nuremberg, and what do you have? Regensburg, which is an old city actually goes all the way back to ancient Rome, where the Romans conquered the city and put up their forces in that city. So that was an interesting city to see as well. But of course there is Frankfurt as well, with all its skyscrapers, modern skyscrapers, versus the contrast of the old. But of course we also have a lot of criminals in Frankfurt. Actually, might even be as much as Hamburg. That's the darker side of Frankfurt, if you will.
Yeah, man. But there is also Germany has a lot of interesting stuff to see all around, both cultural and historical wise. And when I'm listening to you now, I'm thinking holy shit, I've only seen part of Germany compared to what you're writing but saying.
I mean, Germany compared to now, I haven't been to America, but judging from what I've read from American sightseeings, there's a lot more miles in between sites in the U.S. than there is in Germany. I mean, in Germany, a country that is smaller than Texas, you have so many sites and so much culture compressed into a country that is smaller than Texas. Which you have in the entire United States, perhaps.
Yeah.
So it is definitely a mecca for culture in Europe. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Not to exclude France and Britain and all these other Spain and all these other in the Nordic countries, but damn, Germany has a lot. Probably as much as the US.
It also makes sense, because for a long time, Germany has been the center of Europe, right?
Yeah.
Regarding trade, strategic positions, and of course all the countries that borders Germany, right?
And this also, of course, has the backdrop in the fact that Germany is a very young country, so that before it was even a country, there was all these tribes, these very different tribes and different cultures that coexisted within very short range of each other, very much unlike Americans today.
Yeah,
because I mean, what I just mean by that is there's a lot of states in the U.S., but there's a lot of miles in between these different states. This is not the same in Germany. There was a lot of different tribes that didn't live that much further from each other. Of course, this also created wars, as we've discussed in earlier episodes. But yeah, definitely interesting.
But also like the U.S. is way younger than Germany, right? Because like the U.S. is only from 1776 when that was established, but
No.
Germany.
Germany is younger. The German emperor. No, what was it called? The German Empire was founded in 1871. Before that, it wasn't Germany. It was just
What
a
was
bunch
then
of,
before 1871?
well, there was Prussia was a big part of the northern region. The southern regions were Bayern. Then there was pretty much all the current states in Germany, but they were by their own rule. They were not one unified kingdom.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, Germany is one of the early.
Why did it
What?
become unionized? Why did they all collect together and become one?
Well, do you want the short answer or the complicated answer?
Give me the complicated answer. We have the time.
Well, I'm gonna give you the short answer as a joke anyway, but just to ease us into it, because there was some dude at the top who was being power greedy called the Emperor. I can't remember what his name was. I think Bismarck. Yeah, I think his name was Bismarck. Otto von Bismarck, who became power greedy and was like, nope, all you kings of Prussia and kings of Bayern and whatnot, I want the power over all this country now. So you can just go suck it, guys. I'm seizing this. But of course the church also had a lot to do with it, because the church's power grew. The Pope's power grew. The Holy Roman Empire, you have heard of that. That expanded a lot into Germany as well. So a lot of power was taken from each of these bishops, these Bischoptümer, as you call them. And then they went to the emperor, who eventually was able to solidify everything under one constitution. A little bit shaky on those details, how he was able to do that, but it happened very gradually over the course of the 19th century.
I'm like, what are the odds that that you have like one power greedy dude like Otto von Bismarck wanting to collect all of Germany and be the ruler of everything, right? And I think like you said, that he was a leader of old Preußen, right? Right. So that means that, like, I don't know if like I'm correct, but that means that he must have been the dude that for instance started that war against Denmark in 64, right? Because 64 was still before they were unified, so that must have been the Prussian leader. I don't remember. Don't ask me for Prussian leaders here. Okay, man. Like, I'm sorry. Now I gotta Google it and figure out, because this is way too interesting. No, man, it was him. It says that he was then minister president in the Kingdom of Preußen. Unified Germany.
In the
Kingdom of Preußen. Yeah.
Exactly. That's just Prussia. That's by no means all of today's Germany.
But then it says then he unified Germany by the wars against Denmark in 64. Austria in 1866, France in 1870 and 1871, and then he became the first chancellor in the German Kaiser.
Kaiserreich.
Kaiserreich.
It was an empire, or the Kaiserreich until 1980, after the First World War, where the Weimar Republic took over.
Like the
point here is that he still wasn't the chancellor until 1871 of all of the. It is factually incorrect that they call it Germany. I know this. I know that. I see. I don't even need to rely on Google because I know better than Google on this. That is incorrect. It was not called Germany before 1871. That I know for a fact.
I'm just thinking like, damn, he has been one busy motherfucker. War against Denmark, 1864. 2 years later, war against Austria. 4 years later, war against France.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if for you, it would probably not be well seen upon as calling him an ancient version of Hitler.
No, yeah,
but yet in terms of the power level and military strategy, yeah, you could probably say that.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I was going to ask, like, what are the odds that you have like one power greedy dude like this unifying Germany and fighting to become the chancellor of the German Kaiserreich, and then less than let's say this just 80 years after, 70 years after, you have Adolf rising, wanting the same thing, only bigger. Yeah. He wants to collect all of Europe.
Actually, he wanted to go back to the old traditions, to the old aristocracy, and rise Germany up as an emperor, not as an empire, only much bigger, only including the whole world, because the man was delusional.
Yeah.
And had weird fucking problems with race. Not even talking about that. So in those terms, Bismarck, of course, was not as corrupt. At least not as far as I know. I could be wrong about this.
No, I just think that he was power greedy. But unfortunately, we do not have a time machine. Where
but like, I mean, I just mean Hitler was there was much more wrong with that dude than he was power greedy. I mean, he was also fucking racist, narcissist.
He was batshit. He was batshit insane.
He was all the bad things you can think of, all cooped up into one madman.
Yeah. Oh,
man. Talk about the Joker times 10, and we're almost there.
Like, but I'm at the same time, I'm like thinking like, it's crazy that like one man can get millions of people to drink the Kool-Aid like that.
Yeah,
like,
if we want to understand those reasons, we have to go to the Weimar Republic, which I wrote a bachelor thesis on. Well, granted, not only on this. I wrote about the radio during this times and the media affectations of it. But I also was reading up on a lot of the history on this period, which was I'll give you the short version, spare you all the details, but. Basically, it was a turbulent time for Germany, to say it mildly.
Yeah.
Turbulent indeed, and depressing.
And so what? So they were just looking for a savior?
Basically, to say it very short.
Yeah.
And yeah, he was giving the opportunity for jobs, for employment. And I mean, we can... With today's COVID crisis and how society is today, we can understand how it feels not to have a job.
Yeah, it is not a good feeling not to have a job, and even a worse feeling to get fired, to get that knife stuck in your back and twisted.
Yeah, so when you are in that situation and you have been fucking scouring the job markets for years, and then suddenly you come across an ad that says factory workers wanted, producing metal, small metal, round metal objects that are That's basically what the ad said. Wouldn't you take it?
Yeah, I would if I were employed and unemployed and desperate. Yeah, of course.
And then years later, you figure out that those little metal objects were actually bullets meant for war.
Yeah.
Damn, you can understand the frustration of the German people.
But I mean, like, they knew that they were producing weapons and bullets and stuff. But I don't think that they would have cared, because they had a job, they had something to do, they had a purpose.
Yeah, because the individual often doesn't think further than the job they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They just think I'm getting paid, and thank you.
Of course, they had newspapers also in Germany back then, I assume, in the 1940s.
But those were for the upper class. Like, you gotta assume that not everybody read that, and now people, especially the poor people, that only had $2 an hour jobs.
So you see American troops parachuting over Germany as a factory worker, and you're standing there with a monkey face like expression, being like, whoa, what's going on, yo?
And I mean, actually, you could argue that it is kind of like the same thing in that aspect. It's kind of like the same thing in the US today as well, where we also have a increasingly high number of people that are living on very low wages and are quite uneducated too.
Yeah.
That are willing to take any job. Now it's just a miracle that we don't have a madman. Well, we just had a madman, but it's a miracle that Trump wasn't war hungry and employed them to make weapons.
Yeah, but actually, like, that makes sense though, because Trump was a businessman, and any business analysis would state that war is bad for a country's economy.
Yeah.
Not for a company's economy, but for a country's economy. Because
was Trump actually a soldier?
No, he never served. He never served.
Because Hitler was a big time fucking soldier. He served in the First World War and that stuff. So he was already fucking war hungry.
Yeah.
Big mistake to put a guy like that in charge.
Yeah. But I wouldn't say that, like, that they put him in charge. I mean, like, he kind of put himself in charge by slowly rising up to these
of course. But so could Trump have done if he had been a military strategist.
I'm not sure, like, because it worked differently in Germany and in 1939 when Hitler assumed power. There
are a few things that were much less thought of in the Weimar Republic.
Because, like, for instance, if the National Guard in the U.S. that makes up for most of the ground forces, at least domestically, they do not answer to the president; they answer to the governor of each state.
Yeah.
So like, if you were to try the same.
But
shit,
it was a little bit the same way in Germany as well during the Weimar Republic. There was also these Landtagswahlen, which was basically each country had their own parliament as well, and then they elected the chancellor.
Yeah.
But there were, I can't remember what it was. There was a very few paragraphs in the Constitution of the Weimar Republic that made it possible for Hitler to assume the role of both the chancellor and the president, and thereby kind of effectively ending the legislature that made it democratic.
Yeah.
But those those few things have been fixed in today's Germany, and I think those have been fixed in the US as well.
Wow.
So
Crazy times.
yeah.
Crazy times indeed, man.
But still, I mean, we still have to be careful because democracy is not a given. Even if we have all these checks and balances, like the last 4 years of Trump's presidency have proven it that it was a madness. It was.
It was, but I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off there because I'm trying not to get too deeply into politics on this corner.
No.
So let's move on from that. We're also going to end it in a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to ask you a couple of more questions. Aside from all these mesmerizing and interesting facts about the world history, and especially in Germany that we have just visited, what country would be on your list to visit next in the world? I know I have asked you this question before, but it could have changed during the Corona pandemic.
Well, like I still haven't been to the U.S., so that is on the first list, the first chance I get, and we'll go there.
Where in the United States? It's a big country. Alaska.
No, you know it. We've
Alaska.
talked about this multiple. No, we've talked about this multiple times though. The big gambling city, yo.
Right.
And that is for no particular reason other than you've seen it in so many movies, but I mean that's culture too. Like where else in the world do you have a city where the lights glow 24/7 and you have basically what you could call paradise on earth, but I know it's not like because.
I was going to say, I was going to say, where else in the world they built a damn lightning gambling city out of nothing in the middle of the damn desert? And I was going to say Dubai, but Dubai has ocean. They have water.
Yeah.
Right. So I can't think any example where that has happened, where they have built a city like that out of nothing.
So that is a unique piece of U.S. culture right there. Modern culture, granted, but it will definitely be in the history books as the city that arose maybe on the backs of poor people. I don't know, but it's still a modern phenomenon that is unique to that place. Nowhere else to be found. So that's kind of amazing. I don't want to see that, even though one of my good friends, Mathis, has been there, and he says you shouldn't be there for more than a week because actually that place will turn you crazy if you stay there for longer.
I believe it.
Because it is like, I don't know, man, but I don't know why. I get why, but then again, at the same time, I don't, because it's like it seems like it's a place of eternal happiness, like paradise, but maybe we as humans are not designed for constant happiness and like constant euphoria, as we've talked about before.
Yeah.
Like this constant state of being, I gotta go down and gamble. Yes, I won. Yeah, I gotta go down. Gotta get some hookers for $50. Yeah, gotta fucking go out and drive in a limo. Gonna go down and eat at a fucking Heart Attack Grill until I fucking collapse from the fat.
I mean, I would say that Las Vegas is a place where a millionaire can go broke within a day.
Yeah, exactly. But also, it's like if you just, I don't know, because maybe it's just all the things you can do there. It's like all the desires of man will be fulfilled if you have enough money, and maybe that's why you go insane, as per my friend's suggestion, because maybe we aren't meant to have all our desires fulfilled if we can afford it.
No, maybe.
Like
and
maybe
hey, and
we're
hey, man, maybe if you go to Las Vegas, you'll meet Mike Tyson, because he actually lives in Vegas.
Yeah, I don't think like he's not gonna want to hang out. Even if I did find him, he's not gonna want to hang out with the skinny Scandinavian weirdo from the north.
I don't know. Like, because the people say that he's a really nice guy, so who knows, man? Maybe he would have a drink with you if he even drinks anymore.
I damn hope he would buy me a drink though, with all his money.
Well, I don't know. Does he have that much money anymore?
Yeah, I should assume. I mean, he's still famous, so he can still turn a profit by his sheer. There's something called what is it called? Like if you have a certain level of fame, you can always get a job, and then you can always get money, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know what that is called.
Or you could also go because he's opening a weed resort near LA where you can pay to stay at his weed ranch. And smoke weed. And smoke weed.
I think as per the thing about going crazy, I'm not planning to go there to get all my human desires fulfilled. That would, by my buddy's definition, drive me insane. So no, I will be going there to mainly gamble, because I do love me a good game of poker. Just experience the hotel rooms, maybe get the spa and wellness, all the package of the MGM Grand or the Bellagio or where the fuck.
Hey man, if you won like $20,000, and you saw people talking about, hey, the WSOP is like starting tomorrow. You gonna sign up?
Nah, that's way too much money, man. Way too much money. I'll go to a private table.
You wouldn't spend your 20 grand on joining the WSOP?
No, I've actually calculated. I think I showed you my calculation of how much it would cost to pay for the trip that I have in mind. I don't believe it came to more than $5,000, and that even included renting a Mercedes SLR McLaren for a day.
Wow.
So yeah, there's just 1 week, $5,000 dollars to stay in Las Vegas. I mean, that's it. That's all I want.
Wow, that's crazy, man. But hey, man.
Why is it crazy?
I wish you.
Insane.
But I mean, like crazy, like in a good way.
Right.
Right. So I want to thank you for coming on the show today, Troy, and I wish you all the best, and I really wish that you get all your human desires fulfilled in the great state of Nevada.
That's exactly the opposite of what I just fucking said. I don't want. I want to get just like the most burning of my human desires satisfied.
No, you want to get all your human desires,
which is gambling. Which is just gambling. Seeing the hotels there, maybe drive a car, maybe like party with some of those famous strippers. I don't know, but definitely not gonna get a hooker. What the fuck, man?
All right. Well, yeah, man, we're definitely going to be watching and being interested in seeing how many of his human desires Troy gets fulfilled in the great state of Nevada and the great city of Las Vegas. Thank y'all for coming on the line today on the corner, and
good health to you. No, actually, we forgot about your country where you want to go next.
All right.
And you haven't been to Las Vegas either.
No, I haven't been to Las Vegas, but it is it's not on the top of my list.
No, but it is on your list, like at the Probably at the bottom.
It wouldn't. It probably like somewhere at the bottom. Yeah, it would be. It would be a place that I would have driven by. You know, on a road trip or something across United States. It wouldn't have been a place that I would have even cared to stay the night. Because
or a week like this crazy guy here.
Yeah. Because like Los Angeles is only about a 90-minute drive from Las Vegas in light traffic.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to go to Los Angeles though. That place is insane.
I like to go to Los Angeles.
If you do though, beware.
But I would say that like LA is also like not on the great top of my list either. So no, I would like probably be more wanting to go to the northern states, like the state of Washington, Seattle, Tukwila, and Idaho, Michigan, Ohio. Like these like northern states, right? I like to see those people, those states, because I think that there's a lot of like forgotten history there.
Yeah,
right,
for sure.
To see, and a lot of great hiking trails, a lot of great lakes to fish at if you want that, right? And like just general things to experience, but mainly nature, right?
Of course, I would be interested in that too. I mean, that's a whole different realm of joy. Las Vegas is one thing, but yeah, as we agreed upon earlier, that gets boring fast, and when that gets boring, nature is much more inspiring, of course.
And then I know that there's like probably somebody that is from America now that like would say that there's also a lot of great nature in Southern America and South. But I'm like saying I'm not.
That's mainly desert, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not going to say that you're wrong, but I'm not. I don't have a great desire for like sweating my ass off in 50-degree weather, 50 degrees Celsius weather in Arizona, New Mexico, and Texas. Right. So no, right. Like maybe like the only exception I would maybe make would be New Orleans in Louisiana, but other than that, no. Then I would like rather want to experience nature, places, forts, lakes, in Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, right?
So you don't want to experience the mosquitoes in the swamps of Florida?
No, absolutely
with all the alligators and whatnot?
Absolutely not. Whenever like no. I remember. Just before I lose my train of thought here. Then I was going to say that like a very like a quote from the show, the best show ever, with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, season 1 of True Detective, where one of the other says to their partner, they're detectives in somewhere in Louisiana, right? It's not New Orleans, it's in the rural parts of Louisiana, and they're like looking around, and it's only trash, swamps, and like rusty oil rigs pumping like ka-choo, ka-choo. Like one of them said to the other, like, man, how the fuck did we end up in this shithole? And that's like man, like I'm not going to say that like all of Louisiana is a shithole, but I'm it's just the South, man. Like, stay away from the damn South. Because like then I feel like the northern states along the Canadian border, there's a lot to see.
Yeah, for sure.
Like maybe not so much on the Canadian side of that border, because there's not that much population in Canada compared to America, right? So you would be like seeing more nature in Canada and less civilization, right?
Yeah.
But like tons of places. I forgot to say Lake Superior. I think is that in Oregon?
Yeah, I've heard of it before. Yeah,
no, Lake Superior is in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Okay, like I would like to go to Lake Superior, in any of the states that is surrounding it, because Lake Superior, like, is like laying in the middle, and then you have like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, on one side, right, and on the other side you have Ontario, Canada. So that's definitely something I would like to see, in Seattle.
Yeah, me too, man. But before I forget it, I just need to get in there that why you should beware of Los Angeles as I know it.
Yeah.
Because apparently when you get into the city, and I both my buddy has been there, and I read about this as well. Apparently, when you get into a neighborhood there, you can walk through a rich neighborhood. It's all nice. The birds are singing, and then when you make a wrong corner, then you get into a heavy criminalized neighborhood. Just by a few blocks later, where you might get robbed, where there's the risk of getting robbed.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, like you definitely need to know where you're going, and need to probably have a local with you as well, so that you don't end up in a crime neighborhood all of a sudden, because it is so like there's literally rich and poor couldn't be closer side by side.
I'm gonna ask you the same question that I asked Mugen. I don't know if you were on then, but you have all these homeless people in Los Angeles, right? Are you really telling me that there is nobody in the entire United States of America that could give them a job? Because I refuse to believe.
Yeah. There is.
No, yeah. You say that there is, because I refuse to believe that there wouldn't be one place in America, one warehouse that would take one dude with a forklift license, or forklift experience, because it's a generally easy job to get if you have the experience. That emphasis on that, if you have the experience, it's a generally easy job to get. But then as Mugen said, it's not that easy when you don't have an address to show on your application. Because
but that is bullshit.
Yeah.
There should be we already discussed about one of my short stories that I'm working on, where I'm describing a company that just basically hires all unemployed people. There should be a company like that too, where they just pay them maybe minimal salary, but at least they pay them a minimal salary, and then they just find some job. There's just gotta be something that they can do for a minimum wage salary, so they can fucking exist. So they can because guess what? They do exist, and then they need to get at least a base pay, so they can exist. Without having to exist, live this half existence on the street and between the garbage. That's below human dignity, basic human rights. It is, as we've talked about before, it is a human right to work.
It is, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem that that's going to be dignified.
Not in America, at least. In Denmark, it is, because we have kontanthjälp. We have
you have nyttehjälp and stuff.
We have the what is it called? Cash help, and then we have the in order to get that cash help, they've tried to come up with this incitement. This activity for people that they send them out in like 4 to 5 hour jobs, maybe even 8. I was even in an 8 hour job at some point.
Yeah, man.
Even though I
It's
didn't actually get paid the cash out because I had too much money in my bank account. But
it's a good incitement nonetheless, though, to get people active and feel productive. We're going to
if you can find if you can find the job for it, but you can always do, because there's always stuff to do.
Yep.
In this world, it's just about being creative and like fucking giving. And one more thing I wanted to get in there, because these homeless people are not criminals. If they're criminals and have been caught, that's when they're in prison, you know. These homeless people are not they're not like, there is something wrong with them and they can't have a stable job, but I think most homeless people would actually be willing to at least do some effort to get a minimum pay. I refuse to believe that there's fucking homeless people that just wander around snorting heroin and are just like, I don't want to work.
Wow, man! Like now it is
because
you.
Those,
now it is you who are on a roll, but I love it. Continue.
No, because those people are in prison, folks. Make no mistake here. There's those two different kinds of people. There's inmates, convicts, and then there's homeless people. So yeah, that's just what I wanted to end my train of thought with here. There's inmates, convicts, and there's homeless people. Very big difference.
For sure, man. We gotta do another episode on that someday.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, that is that. As for the next country that I would like to visit, I am going to say what I have said in a former podcast: Greece, for sure. And that's kind of that. And thank you all for listening, and I hope you enjoyed it. And do contact me ASAP if you ever feel like you wanna be a guest on this episode, either in the comment section or just leave some contact info, and I will get back to you. Thank you all for tuning in. Peace out, folks.